Hi Capricorn, this is a July 2024 reading for your sign, and we will look beyond this month into August too for you, as well as seeing what's already come up. But what is still to come is a much more intense than usual full moon in the sign of Capricorn on the 21st of July. So this full moon is in your sign. It's ruled by your ruler then, of course, Saturn. Saturn is associated with building and structure and stability, but it is also about tasks and tribulation and effort. Judgment card, here we go, we've got to talk about it. This is associated with Pluto, and this full moon on the 21st is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, the most karmic degree of any of the degrees. Any of the 30 degrees, 29 degrees is the most karmic because it represents closure. And it's going to be conjunct in an outer sign conjunction. I hope I'm not speaking in a foreign language here, but to the planet Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius, the very beginning of Aquarius, and the full moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, the degree before it enters Aquarius. Okay, so it would enter then next, the moon will move from 29 degrees of Capricorn to 0 degrees Aquarius and conjoin Pluto. But it is in a outer sign conjunction to Pluto. What does that mean? It means it's much more intense. It means that the 21st of the month for your sign Capricorn is representing closure. It's representing a breakthrough. It's representing you helping others, and it's representing a dissolving of karma for you, and kind of you being at this point now where you're going to be a teacher or a guide, not literally necessarily, for other people because of your lived experience, because of your wisdom. But let's see what's coming through on the tarot. The Fool, which is an Aquarian energy. It's 0 as well. So just at this full moon, we'll be breaking through on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of July at 0 degrees of Aquarius with the moon, and we'll be experiencing in the collective, but particularly you, a breath of fresh air. So things are about to start. Things have already probably shown some of that. There's that full moon energy in the corner of this 8 of Cups as well. So it's a really important time for you. The Queen of Rods, what a great energy to see. The 7 of Pentacles with the 9 of Swords. The World card, which is Saturn, your ruler and the ruler of this full moon. Well, it's the first card, the Fool card, and the last card, the World card. That's really interesting to me, telling me that you're in a really condensed, even like it's like 1 month is so pivotal for you. Like so much could happen within this month, or has already sort of begun to happen. I also have 2 more. Oh my God, and there's Judgment again. I mean, yes, this reading is giving me Aquarius's vibes as well. Their reading ended with Judgment card, and I kept referring to Capricorn in the Aquarius reading. I kept saying, are you an Aquarius dealing with a Capricorn? Are you an Aquarius with a lot of Capricorn placements? So maybe you're a Capricorn with a lot of Aquarian placements. That could be possible, or you're dealing with an Aquarian in a bigger way. But so many major arcana cards here. The Fool, the World, the Hermit, the Magician. Major arcana cards are about soul growth, and this is a month, I feel like the late part of June into the early part of August, let's call it that 6-week period. It's just like condensed soul growth. It's like a mini lifetime within that 6-week period. So it's almost like there is a sort of rebirth, death, rebirth cycle going on in this month alone. Like you've got the first card and the last card. So there's a big journey that takes place in a short amount of time for you. There is a huge transformation and beginnings and endings and creation and introspection and transformation. I mean, I will actually have to pull a couple more cards here to clear this up. I usually save that for the extended, but I'll be pulling a further 10 extra cards in the extended reading, which I will link down below. If you want to go even deeper with these messages, you'll find that reading over on Patreon, but I might have to pull a card or two just to see I guess the Fool and the World, I think they would be the cards I'd like to clear up the most. What's the big beginning for you? And then so quickly after, there's like, you tie that up in a bow and you're finished with it and you're off to something else. Okay. So at the moment, Capricorn, you are in this energy of what's next, what am I getting up to next, what am I going after next, what is the new adventure, and what have you set your sights on. You're feeling incredibly confident, and as you should be. The Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Rods in this case, wouldn't show up in a reading unless there was a significant amount of power and drive and force coming from you, and the, you know, high self-esteem, of course, and self-respect and good morals and a little bit of, you know, sassiness, but also sex appeal, and just like people want to like people are vibing with you. There's warmth around you too. You're just all around very desirable at the moment, and you've got a lot of confidence in doing what you're doing. The Judgment card and the Queen of Rods, because the Judgment card is Pluto in essence, and Pluto speaks to regeneration, death, rebirth, and it speaks to crisis and upheaval. And that's because it's in these times of death cycle where we're like, you know, maybe upheaval of leaving a job, leaving a marriage. It could be transformation of an archetype, you know, you're entering parenthood, you're selling your business, you're opening a business. I don't know, you've quit smoking, you're going on a world tour. There's just a period of time which is profoundly transformative, but they can also bring, you know, a lot of challenges with them, and it's through these periods of time that we can really grow as people. What's happening here is with the Queen of Wands and the Judgment card lately, and even into the month of August, there is this kind of like fearlessness around you where you're going to be embarking on some sort of a purpose or mission that in the past you probably wouldn't have been. You would have always been able to. You're always able. The Magician card reminds you of that, but you wouldn't have believed in yourself in the same way, or you just wouldn't have thought you were ready for this, and maybe you weren't ready. And now, ready or not, it seems like the energy of transformation is swooping you up in August. I started talking with like a long spiel about the full moon this month. I haven't really mentioned it for any of the other signs, and you're the 11th sign I've read for, because I don't really see it being as significant for people that aren't ready for their karmic closure. And I think, Capricorn, you have worked so hard on yourself. You've worked so hard on aligning with your mission and making sacrifice is what I see with the 8 of Cups right now. This person has had to abandon these 8 cups in search of something else. I think it represents the sacrifices you've made in order to get to a position like yours. And I would say that there is a superiority around you at the moment. It's not arrogant. It's pretty like based, and it's sort of, you're supposed to kind of feel good about yourself and what you're doing right now. You're kind of in the big league. So the Magician card would suggest that you're more than capable. I mean, you're the pro, you're supposed to be doing what you're doing, but it has not come to you without sacrifice. And now there's something about an abandonment of what you were working on, or what you loved, or what you were supposed to do. And there's an incompletion of a goal or a promise or a pact, or there is a abandonment of a promise. Did I say that already? It's almost like you promised yourself something, promised somebody else something, and because of the way the world is moving and you're moving with it, and just because of how life is going for you right now, you are actually going to have to tell that person, or that even if it's yourself, you know, we're not going to be doing this, we're not going to be sticking to this goal, we're going to be going in another direction. You have to say, like, you know, we're going in another direction, I'm going in another direction with this. And Also, the sacrifice piece is like part of your mastery now. Like you've sacrificed things in the past. Capricorn has that Benjamin Button quality of all of the signs. I mean, Saturn is your nocturnal. It's the Saturn, at least in ancient astrology, rules Capricorn. It still does, but Aquarius was also governed by Saturn. I now Aquarius would be a more Uranian sort of quality, but as our consciousness has expanded, and I suppose our awareness of planets like Uranus and Pluto and Neptune, but the ancients were not at that level of consciousness around. They probably just didn't have the tools, or God, I'm going on such a tangent now. But my point is, Saturn governs time. It's Chronos energy, right? So this is about you aging backwards. I don't know, maybe you're just more comfortable taking risks at this time in your life. Maybe you're just more comfortable saying no when something doesn't work for you. Maybe you don't feel scarcity as much as you did when you were young, or when you had to, younger, or when you had to prove yourself more. You're kind of a little bit more free-spirited. You're a bit more comfortable with yourself. You're very comfortable with yourself, I would say. The Nine of Swords, right, like over, I guess, since like May, June, there has been this anxiety for some reason. And there is now kind of like moving on from that, but something had really been troubling you over the last couple of months. And fortunately, I love to see the Nine of Swords. If I have to see the Nine of Swords in a reading, my favorite position would be in the past energy. We'll go deeper into the extended with this, but the Nine of Swords, you're leaving something go, you're letting something be in the past. The sort of abandonment, or the kind of like moving on from, that I see here in the Eight of Cups, I feel like that might be tricky because, you know, you've been working with this team for a while, you've been in this circle of friends for a while, you've been on that group or society, or I don't know, could be a team of players or something like that. And now you just have to say, like, you know, I can't commit anymore, or I've made a choice to do something else. And there's like loyalties there. There's no I don't see any hard feelings here. Well, as I say that, the Three of Swords catches my eye. Maybe you do have to hurt someone's feelings, or, I mean, that's probably not me phrasing that very well. Maybe, as you know, the impact of your choices will hurt somebody's feelings, regardless of that being your intention, or most likely not. But the impact might be them feeling like disappointed, kind of out of your control, I guess. The Fool card, I'd like to look a little deeper into the Fool card. The Ace of Rods. Okay, well, that is quite a like, just like very present, very current energy now. The Ace of Rods, it's an opportunity to strike while the iron is hot. This has maybe just come up, and, you know, maybe you weren't expecting it. The Fool card is sort of impulsive at times, but optimistic. So I'm hearing like, go for it. But at the same time, I am aware that the highest self is coming in with the Three of Swords to say that, okay, do with this information what you will. The impact of your choice, or your abandonment, or you going in a different direction, or you making another sacrifice, is going to come with the likelihood of somebody's at least being disappointed, at least feeling that your boundary doesn't suit them, okay? And that impact is out of your control. It's maybe not your intention, like I said, but if this helps you to make more empathetic or compassionate choices while still doing what's best for you and your business and your money and your investments and your stability, and while remaining on top, there can be just a little bit of grace that you could offer so that it softens the blow here a little bit. But I think you've got to do what you've got to do, is what I'm hearing. But don't be surprised if there is a emotional reaction to what you do, because this just comes up, you feel very excited about it. It represents a positive opportunity that's unfolding for you now. Momentum, excitement, challenge, risk, adventure even, and a new beginning and a possibility. Even if it's just a creative download, it's like, yeah, I could sink my teeth into this. As you approach the full moon on the 21st and just for the few days after, I really feel like you're headed towards, well, yes, you're headed towards the World card here, karmic closure. I was listening to a podcast just the other day about the degree 27, 28, and 29 of any, if you have anything at those degrees in a birth chart. I have a 27 degree sun and I have a 29 degree Venus. 27 degree of anything is about recognition that you have a part to play. So they're the three most karmic degrees. I'd argue, and it wasn't in this podcast, I would actually include 0 in that as well, because it's the birth of a new karmic cycle, right? So everything else is like not karmically neutral, but the 27, 28, 29 degrees are really important. If you have anything in your chart at that degree, 27 is about recognizing in this lifetime that you have a part to play and you're not a victim, that you have been a contributor to all of your experience. My 27 degree Pisces sun, Pisces being the sign of victimhood in its shadow, was like, okay, right, let me sit with that, but I totally get it. 28 degree then is the transformation of that fact, and recognizing that you've had a part to play in every experience that you have encountered in this lifetime, and then you transform, you change. And then 29 degree, which was really interesting, and that's the degree that this full moon on the 21st is at in your sign, was about the closure, and that's the World card, right? So the 8ths in tarot are about transformation, and we're thinking about the 28th degree, and then the 29th degree, the full moon in Capricorn on the 21st, is about closure. So I feel like you've been on this journey from like recognizing where you have been contributing to all of your experiences. Okay, so what came to my mind straight away for me about my 27 degree Pisces sun, it's in the house of service. Okay, so if I work in the service industry, I had been at every position in service industry, including business owner, and then before I was owned my own business as a member of a team of other owners, I was a manager. Like, I moved to New York, and one of the first jobs I got was like as a manager, and I was felt at least way in over my head because I had like no experience like before, but whatever reason I was given this opportunity. And throughout and if I was, okay, let me try and get this straight. If I was just working as a bartender, which is the bulk of my experience, I would always vibe really well with my superiors. Like I would always be friends with my managers, friends with the owners, going to their house, going drinking with them, enjoying their company, and we would just get on really well. When I was in a position of responsibility, such as assistant manager, myself and another woman were assistant managers to our general manager. She became a petty tyrant in my life. So I felt victim to her bossing me around. Even though we were equal, I felt like a victim because I was like, oh, I would complain a lot about her. And then when I owned a business, I clashed with a person on my same level as well, but it was the same thing, kind of feeling undermined by them, kind of feeling like inferior. And I kept projecting that it was them making me feel such a way and claiming this victim narrative. What made come to my mind, like, and I made this realization long before I listened to this podcast the other day, I was like, that was all me. Like, I was feeling inferior. I was feeling like not good enough for the job, or out of my depth, or that I didn't have a proper say, or I just didn't feel comfortable in myself or confident enough in myself. So that internal process just kept manifesting as external people that would just basically hold up a mirror. They were just a mirror. They weren't doing anything to me. So I obviously have taken responsibility for that ever since, but yeah, I guess I don't do that great in a managerial position, which is funny because my chart really suggests like a lot of leadership and management. I'm just like, no, spare me. I guess I'm like adverse to responsibility. But now that like I'm now that I have a baby and I've just become a mother, I'm much more comfortable taking the reins in the, like, that department of life, like the household, running the house, like making decisions for the family. That really resonates a lot more with me. And I haven't encountered any blocks yet, so that probably means I'm pretty in alignment. Okay, long story short, I feel like you are in this journey big time of like taking ownership for your faults, for your playing small, for your lack of self-belief, and instead of feeling like a victim, you're feeling like, okay, I'm ready to change this. And as you change this, you embark on this journey of transformation, the eights in tarot, like I said, arc transformation towards the world card. So between, like, I feel like now at the end of the month or just before the end of the month, maybe it's the full moon, there is this energy of like a closure on something. You get closure and then you're here to help other people. So let's have a look into that, Capricorn. And I hope you don't mind me talking about myself there. I don't do that very often. The Chariot. Wow. Okay. Something that came up from the 3rd, 4th, 5th of the month. Like I said, like it's like a little lifetime packed into 6 weeks for you. And something that came up at the beginning of the month, you're getting closure on now in a number of days or weeks, and it gets tied up in a bow for you, and that's the end of the storyline there. And the Chariot card, another major arcana card, you're just off to something else, like a new level, a progression. Something to do with your car maybe is coming up. Like there was an issue at the beginning of the month, you were taking it on a long drive and something, I don't know, you got an offer to sell it or something like that, or there was just an issue could have come up with a car or a journey, or if not literally like that, and now it's all settled for you. Like, I don't know, you applied for your tax, you had to wait for something or another, then you got it at the end of this month. Other things like that can come up with the Chariot card though is just like a spiritual journey rather than just something literal, like where you just feel like you've come from one place to another. You've come from one version of yourself to another. It's all about maturity. And I mean, the sacrifices you've made are incredible, Capricorn. No wonder you are allowing yourself to be a little bit wilder and let your hair down at the moment. That's a good thing. Anxieties of the past, we'll look into it in the extended. The 7 of Pentacles, you're still cautious. I mean, there's just this kind of quality with Capricorn, preparing all the time for winter, for your season, hibernation. You've got to have enough to get through. Do we have enough? Being careful, planning carefully, careful planning, all of those things, being wise, being conservative. I feel like, you know, building for the future, and all of those things come up with Capricorn, and time and resources and things like that. And I feel like there is still that cautiousness here in the subconscious with the 7 of Pentacles, even though the rest of the world and how you even view yourself and everyone sees you as this like confident queen, you know, Queen of Rods or King, whatever it may be. And it's like fiery and assertive and sociable and out there in the world and just like moving and shaking and stuff like that. Deep down in the subconscious, there isn't, it's not scarcity here. It's just like, you're still a little bit concerned that you may not make this work on some level. 3 major arcana cards. I will just I'll definitely go deep with these into the extended, okay? Sorry to keep plugging that, but it's actually how the Aquarian reading ended yesterday as well, with 3 major arcana cards like this in this row here that I just cleared up in the extended more deeply, but I'll touch on them all here, of course. But the 3 of Swords, I guess this is just the higher self saying, like, you can't please everybody, by the way, and there are going to be hurt feelings. And another thing, like, you know, those people in my life, you know, the Queen of Rods, that was my old co-assistant manager. She was a fiery woman, and she really, like, made me feel a type of way. That's a victim story, okay? She didn't have the power to make me feel anything. I felt that way about myself, and she just held up a mirror to that, okay? Try and remember that we can't create feelings in another person. We can't shame another person unless shame already exists within that person, and our words just hold up a mirror to that. So there are places in people that you know that are wounded and vulnerable. You're not creating that for them. You're not doing that to them. Your actions may hold up a mirror to those wounded places and make them sting and hurt and expose their vulnerabilities. And that will be their work to kind of do that inner work and healing and all that. It's not your responsibility, but just know that you should keep doing what you're doing, and you can't please everyone, and there might be some sort of a, like, you know, it might be put to you that this is breaking someone's heart, could even be said, you know, which is a heavy cross to bear. The Hermit in the environment. Yeah, people are looking for answers at the moment, aren't we all? And I mean, the Hermit in the environment just tells me that, like, the people around you are also kind of on this similarly, whether you know it or not, spiritual mission. You're always on that, like a spiritual quest, looking for answers, seeking the truth. People are really kind of starting to ask questions and shine a light into those kind of dark corners and see what's really going on. And you know, you might be involved with something in a family situation where someone in your family is like seeking answers, like looking in, like trying to build a case or trying to do something. You know, it could be something you work with a team of journalists, or you work with a team of researchers, and you're kind of in this kind of environment of probing, or you don't even have to be doing it as your job. You could be like a little internet sleuth in your free time. But the Hermit card on a deeper level is about you noticing that the company you keep and the people around you right now are looking deeper into things, whatever that may mean to you. The Magician card, I think it speaks again just to more of your confidence, like, you know, when I said big leagues, when I saw this card, like, you know, a lot of you are kind of doing something on your own. A lot of you are instructing, and that's what comes with the closure of this full moon, the karmic closure. After you've realized your part to play and removed any sort of victim storylines that run in your lifetime, you transform them then, and you change so that you break free of that karmic heaviness. And now, after the full moon, I haven't spoken like this in any of the other signs. It's like, and I'm on the 27th minute now, I'm sure we'll wrap it up by the 29th. Like, you really are the one sign I want to talk to you this about. Like, you are going to be getting closure on something in such a big way that you will become I said not necessarily a teacher in the literal form, but like you'll be able to share your wisdom, or you'll be able to help heal others from what they've been carrying, what they have been exhausted by or hurt by or a victim to. Because people are victimized, don't get me wrong, and you know, we are a victim to something, but then that becomes a story, and you know, there's always power to be taken back, okay? And that's, I feel like you're sharing how to take your power back, or just you live by an example, or you show up in this way. The Judgment card, I mean, a massive transformation is in store for you in the month of August. I'm excited to see what that is all about. But basically, the Judgment card is suggesting that now you're fearless enough to go after what you want or do what you want, even if it means changing course, even if it means letting people down or hurting people's feelings. The Seven of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords, I mean, you haven't always been like you haven't always been known as like a gambler or a risk taker or anything like that, but now it does seem like you're a lot more free-spirited and you're letting go of many anxieties that you had, and I think that's great. Well, I'm going to wrap up here. We're just finishing off at the 29th minute, and if you would like to go deeper into this reading, I'm about to get into an extended right now, and I'll post that down below. But if this is all you feel called to watch today, well then, thank you so much for watching, and I'd love if you would even subscribe or like or comment. That would be great. And again, thanks for just letting me ramble on about myself for a minute. Just wanted to share that example, and maybe it will resonate for somebody watching. Take care.